I heard the beep. Okay, so what I would like you all to do is I would like for you just kind of up on the corner of your paper or anywhere you've got a little bit of space off the side there, I would like for you to write down your dream car. Now let me quantify this real quick. I'm talking dream as in, hey, I could really see myself riding around town going and buying milk in this thing, okay? So if your dream car starts with the word Bugatti or Bentley or Lamborghini or Oscar Mayer Wienermobile or something like that, then it's like, yeah, that's fun, but we're talking like actual, like real life dreams. But go ahead and get a car. If you want to get down a year, that's fine. If you want to get down a color, that's fine. I mean, what do you honestly see as your dream car that you would like to eventually own someday and drive around? Okay? Everybody kind of get one. When you found one, when you've got one written down, I would like for you to just kind of shout out what it is. And what we're going to do, bless you, is we're going to do just a little bit of Google Foo, and we're going to see how much one of those dudes would cost. Or ladies, I don't want to be sexist with my cars here. Okay? Yes.
I don't necessarily have a dream car. I just have like criteria for what I want, like a nice car, like possibly some sort of like it being like brain friendly. Maybe that'd be nice. Like not using as much gas or using less gas.
All right, so you'd like to go for a hybrid or an electric vehicle, possibly?
Probably.
All right, that's cool.
Or like something with like it. Like my only criteria is like maybe a Bluetooth speaker. That's easy. As long as it drives.
You can even add that in. That's not a big deal. Okay.
Or my dream vehicle would be to convert like a van or like a bus or something that would something to like live in and travel.
Okay. Yeah, that's Sam King's dream too. So, does anybody have a make, model, year? What do you want?
I want a 2001 Montero Sport.
All right, you're living the dream, Bucko.
I know.
Good for you. All right.
Now, is there another car like that, but like newer?
I'm sure there are many cars like that are like this.
Find me a Honda. Honda Civic 2007. Sure.
Oh my goodness, John,
okay.
You could be a mom.
Hey, let's hear some other people's dreams real quick. I think I may have broken my child. He's not sure how to dream big here, but we're going to get him to come back to him.
Oh, God.
When you had your hand up, what's your dream car?
A black 1960s Ford Mustang.
1960s Ford Mustang.
As long as it
So you want like a 65 maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's like I don't know, school revolution. Like that's what
Black.
matters.
You want convertible or hardtop?
Hardtop.
Hardtop. All right. Let's look at. Let's go to classics.autotrader.com. Let's just kind of look at one of the puppies in run. Okay. So there's a 68 Shelby for 88.5. Okay, 65. We're talking 29,000, 37,000, 27,000. So I'm kind of getting in the neighborhood around here of about $30,000. Write down 30K on your bid. Okay. Somebody give me another one. Bid.
Newest Tesla Model 3.
Okay. Let's go Tesla Model 3.
That's like 30 to 40,000.
Okay. Look.
Like from their website, it's like 30 to 40,000.
All right. Well, that's fine.
Yeah. Like it's actually pretty cheap.
Pretty. I like
I don't
it.
believe you being.
Where's MSRP, my dudes?
Like
They don't keep it.
Yeah, it's one of those, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. But I'm pretty sure.
It's at the top. It says
Is it?
start shop. Yes.
Okay.
It disappeared.
you can like design your Tesla and that's
Probably
what I have it for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
No.
Okay.
For sure.
After
All right.
Tesla. Buy them. Nice.
Model.
I want a Cure. I want the darn Cure. Can I get it? No, this is just a shop. This is not like where I actually buy cars.
There was a button for it.
All right.
Order now.
Model 3.
Order
now.
Order now.
Sure. Okay, let's see.
That's Steve.
I would.
Okay, so standard range plus, we're talking 35,000. You want to go long range or performance or anything? And which one? It's your dream car. What do you want?
Don't care. Don't don't
All
care
right.
about that.
You won't perform it.
Yeah, we can go middle of the road. We can go 43,000, 44,000. So write down 44,000 on your car. Okay, who's got
Wait,
Mustang GT 350R.
Mustang GT 350R? Sweet. Hold on. Okay, 2020 Ford Mustang Shelby 350R at Ford.com. Let's check it out. Oh, that's shiny. Starting at $73,000. Okay, so go ahead and write down 73K.
my goodness.
I like it. Pretty. Who's got one?
Can you look up like just like your average like hybrid like green car type of thing? I'm just
Well, I mean,
curious.
pick a make for me. You want like Toyota hybrid?
I
You
don't
want
know.
Honda.
Those don't make sense.
Chevy
Honda
Spark.
Makes and models, I don't understand.
Okay. Okay. Well, hey,
like a
Emily,
brand.
would you
Yeah.
rather have like, I mean, sedan, SUV, but
I don't really care. Why do
Okay.
people care?
Do you see yourself as traveling with a bunch of people? Like being like
so.
the bus for everyone?
No.
All right. So let's look at the best hybrid electric SUVs. Check it out.
Okay, let's go.
Edmonds likes the 2021 Toyota Highlander hybrid. That's nice. 38,000 to 50,000. There's a RAV4 that's a little bit smaller, 28.5 to 37. So you want, I mean, they've got smaller, they've got full size. What do you want?
Probably smaller.
Smaller. Okay. I think the RAV4 would be good. There's a Ford Escape. They don't have an MSRP on it though. CRV hybrid, so 30,000. Emily, let's put down for you about 30K. Okay, cool. Does anybody else have one?
John, ask for a minivan.
John, you were wanting a newer model.
2007 Honda Civic.
Sure.
That's just random numbers in my head.
Nah.
I don't understand how people just
Okay,
look at a
I
car
can
like,
buy
oh
that.
yeah, that's a Chevy.
All right,
That's
so let's look
Toyota,
here.
That's a Honda. Like how?
Kelly Blue Book,
Who
Their
has-
logos.
Who has time to memorize the
Use.
logos?
Civic for sale with
I've
photos
had
and
18
Carfax.
years.
Who cares?
Okay, John. Okay, that's 6.
Oh, this is
Okay, wait. I want to price these from high to low. I don't
No.
want to say what the price is. Enter your zip code.
You're going down now.
They're gonna get cheaper. Watch.
Yeah.
They don't want to sell us a car.
No.
Okay. So, I'm thinking, look, if you can get, a 2007 Civic for like $7,000, let's go like even newer. Go ahead and put down 15,000. I mean, that'll get you like, at least a 2014.
I could have 2 of them.
Sure. Okay. Yes,
Could you look up another one for me?
I guess so.
Nissan Fairlady.
Fair lady.
Yes.
Whoa.
Oh my god, I just really played these.
Never heard of one.
It's a person.
It's really nice.
Oh, it's a Z car. Okay, cool. So you want like a new one or what?
I don't know about that. Dude.
Nissan Global. Let's check it out. Now this is like a Nissan sedan here.
Yes.
Okay.
$14.
I noticed they had a Fairlady Z in the year 2000.
That looks like the Nissan.
It was discontinued in 2008.
Wait, what
probably
company is this by?
Okay, so now listen. I bring all of this up because when you talk about your dream car, there's no reason why eventually you can't drive your dream car. Now, I'm going to just, because this is a number I kept seeing pop up all over the place here and there and everywhere, I kept seeing the number $30,000 pop up. Okay, there were some that were priced higher than that. There were some that were priced lower than that. But that's one that I'm saying. If you were to go out and buy like a new vehicle, XYZ model, 30,000 is what would probably be on the sticker price, the MSRP, the manufacturer suggested retail price. Now, that begs a very serious question. How am I going to pay for a $30,000 car?
Save money.
Listen, here's what conventional wisdom tells you. Conventional wisdom tells you, okay, and the auto dealers, the ones who are trying to sell you the cars, are going to tell you you're usually looking at 2 options. The first option is to lease your vehicle. The second option is to finance your vehicle.
And one of those are dumb.
you're right, but actually both. We're going to talk about why. Okay? So, I had a lot of people in secondary who didn't know what a lease was. Is anybody here not really sure what a lease is? Okay. Here's how a lease works. What you do is you sign a lease, you pay a certain amount of cash up front. And then you're basically in a contract for, let's say, 3 to 5 years. During those 3 to 5 years, you are responsible for making sure that this thing gets maintenance. You're usually limited on the amount of miles you can drive. You have to buy gas. And then at the end of your lease term, you give it back. Now,
Oh.
dealers love this. Can anybody tell me why?
Because they
Because
get
they
it
get it
back.
back.
Because basically they get to sell the car twice.
Yeah.
Okay?
And you have to pay for it if you return it with any problems.
Yeah, that too. So, lease, in general, I can't think of a single case anywhere where a lease would be a good idea. Okay? Never lease a car. So, the dealers will then say, well, if you don't want to lease because your astronomy teacher was a little bit biased, then let's finance this. Now, we can finance this right here in-house through our own financing company with the car company. We can offer you all kinds of perks. We can offer you rebates. We can offer you however many months, same as cash, or 0 down, 0 pay for like 60 months, okay? Where you're not paying any money, and your brain is thinking, dude, you're gonna let me sign my name, you're gonna let me drive a car for like 2-3 years and not pay anything? That's awesome. Now let me tell you what the catch is. When they give you rebates, when they give you months same as cash, what that does is an attempt to try and hide the fact that they are charging a very large percentage of interest. So in other words, you are financing a $30,000 car. And they will like you to pay it out, say, over a number of months, usually something like 60 months. That's 5 years. And so in 5 years, you will be paying car payments to these people. And by the time you're done, you will have paid not $30,000, you will have paid somewhere between $40,000 to $50,000 out of pocket. And so you're thinking, okay, well, I've paid $50,000 for a $30,000 car. Wrong. Because from the moment you buy it, every year that you drive it, the value of your car decreases. So by the end of 5 years, your car, if you're lucky, is maybe worth $15,000. So you just paid $50,000 for a $15,000 car. Cars are a terrible, terrible investment. Without exception, their value goes down unless you start getting into the antique classic market, and that's just a handful of vehicles. And if you're shopping for that, you're shopping for that because you're a car enthusiast. You're not shopping for it as a daily driver. Okay? So you're spending a lot of money for not a lot of car.
And a lot of the price of the car drops as soon as you
The
get off
second
the
you,
line.
I've heard it put like this, the second you drive off the lot, your car decreases in value by about half.
Wow.
Now, that means for 5 years, you are locked into a car payment on a car that is eventually going to be it's going to be worth a lot less than it started. Now, certain car companies tend to hold their value better than others, but they're still going to deprecate, okay? Toyota also owns Lexus. Toyotas and Lexuses tend to stay a little at the higher end, but they're going to lose money. Yes?
Why does mileage matter? Because I've heard people say, oh, we can't let it get to this many miles or it's not good anymore. Does that make the value go down?
Well, here's the thing. Because no car was ever built to run forever. Okay? It used to be that, if a car could get 100,000 miles, that was impressive. A lot of cars now, because they are made a little bit smarter, a little bit better, if they are well maintained, they can go 200,000 or 300,000 miles. Okay? Especially some of your smaller Japanese cars. They are engineered just super duper well. Your Hondas, your Toyotas, those dudes can run forever if you take care of them. But see, here's the thing. I'm going to suggest to you a totally different way of getting your dream car. And the first thing I'm going to suggest to you is never buy a new car. And the main reason for that is this right here, the fact that it deprecates. Now, ideally, you want to have a great car, dream car. What you want to be looking for are the cars that are about 3 model years old. Can anybody tell me why?
Because they're cheaper.
They're recent, but not like brand new.
Uh-huh.
So they're probably cheaper, but for the same value.
And you know what else?
They've been leased.
They've been leased. In 3 years, these cars are being turned in on old leases from people who didn't know any better. And usually a dealer, before they sell them, they'll recertify them, they'll get them all checked out, they'll make sure that they have got, certain things not wrong with them. And so you can have, and they're not going to sell it to you for like, $15,000. They're going to jack the price up. They're still going to sell it for maybe like $20K.
But you're still saving
Okay.
money.
You're still saving money. Okay. You're just letting somebody else take the new off of it and take the hit for the first part of the devaluation. But still, that begs the question, okay, well, how the heck am I going to get $20,000 to buy a car? So you could either take out a loan, bad idea, but you could, and you could make car payments. Let's say that you have figured it out, you've got yourself a decent paying job, and you're going to be able to pay, let's say, car payments or payments on a loan of about, let's say, $400 a month, okay? By the way, never ever finance in-house. You're always going to get a better deal if you go to a bank or if you go to a credit union and you apply for a car loan. Okay? Well, let's say that you can afford $400 a month. Now what that means is that however long it takes you to pay off that car, and it could be years, you're paying $400 a month. You are also paying interest. You are also paying for more insurance, because when you don't own a car free and clear, usually your company that you're leasing or you're paying to requires you carry full coverage on that car, which is a lot more expensive insurance than just the liability. What if we do something a little bit different? Let's take this $400 a month here, okay? And we're going to take that $400 a month, and instead of going out and buying our dream car, what we're going to do is for 3 months, we are going to just do our best to get around. We might be doing some walking, we might be hitching rides with friends, we might get a bicycle, might borrow a car from a brother or sister, and you're going to save for 3 months what you would be putting into that car payment. How much have you saved in 3 months? $1,200. Okay? And here's what you do. You take that $1,200 and you buy yourself a Beaver. You buy yourself a hoopty. You buy yourself a $1,000 car. If you have a $1,000 car, you have $200 to kind of get it cleaned up a little bit, have a mechanic look it over, do anything that's essential that's going to keep the car from rolling. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our $1,200 car. It's a Carzilla, okay?
It went for.
Okay? We're going to take our $1,200 car, and we are going to drive it for 3 years. Now, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to have some holes in the upholstery. It might have some cigarette burns on the dash. One of the windows, when you roll it down, may not want to roll back up unless you really talk to it sweetly. It might make funny sounds. Part of the speakers may not always work. And it's going to sometimes be a little bit embarrassing to be seen in this car. But you're not going to worry about what other people think, because what you're thinking is that, hey, for 3 years, I am taking that $400 a month that I would be paying into a car payment, and I'm saving it up. Now, after 3 years, if I'm saving $400, how much will I have saved? That's 36 months times 400. Somebody math that for me.
Like 14,000 up there.
So do
So you're doing 36 months.
36 times 400.
Okay. Yeah. 14,400.
14,400. Actually, let me back that up real quick. let's not even worry about driving this for 3 years. Let's drive this for 1 year, okay? Because it's a lot to ask you to drive around a crappy car for 3 years. Let's drive it for 1 year. 1 year, $400 times 12. After 1 year, you will have saved up $4,800. Now, here's what you do. You take a $1,200 car, you sell it for scrap, or you give it to somebody who really needs a car to drive around for a year because they don't have any money. You take your $4,800, you buy yourself a $4,800 car. Now this one's going to last you a lot longer, okay? So this one, we're going to drive for 3 to 4 years. Let's make it 4 years. This one, it's nice enough we can afford to drive for 4 years, okay? Now, 4 years, still saving up $400 a month. How much will we have saved? That's 48 times 4.
19,200.
We'll have saved up 19,200. Yep, $19,200 cash. How much was that dealer selling your 3-year-old car for?
20K.
Guys, in 5 years, if you make car payments to yourself and drive used little bitty cars, you'll be able to pay cash for your dream car. That's not too bad, right? Now, if something goes wrong, okay, during that 1 year, let's say my car breaks down a little bit, okay, maybe the fuel pump goes out on me. Well, maybe I will have like 3 months saved up, so I'll have $1,200 to drop for an auto repair bill, and I've already paid for it, right? Or, maybe just a month worth I use for maintenance on this car to keep it rolling, until I can save enough to buy my median car. My median car, something breaks, well, I've been saving this $400 a month going into my car fund, and not touching it for anything else, and I can use it to maintain this until I've got enough saved up. This way, I'm not paying $50,000 for my car. I'm paying closer to what it's worth. I own it free and clear, so I'm not carrying a car payment. I'm not having to buy the expensive insurance, unless I just want to at this point. I guess I could. I mean, I got $400 a month coming in that I can spend on insurance. $400, get that sucker detailed. And I still got enough left over to treat my lady or my guy to stake him off, right? That's the smart way to get a car.
I hadn't even thought about that because I always heard that people always had car payments. That's so interesting.
I think I've told you this before. I've been working for 22 years. I have never, except for 1 month of my life, had a car payment. Okay. Now, and the cars that I've bought over the years have gotten progressively nicer.
And then you got lucky.
Well, we got blessed.
That one was funny.
Okay, we took our time finding that one. Remember?
Tell us about that car.
Which one?
The new one.
Oh yeah,
The funny one where the government man.
My wife loves that car.
We had a car that
The
was called
PT, that's right. Okay, now listen. Let's say that life happens, okay? And for whatever reason, the $1,000 hoop is not going to do it for you. Let's say that maybe you weren't able to get this entire $19,200 because you had a catastrophe come up with the old car. Let's say that at a certain point you've only saved up like say $17K, okay? And this car, something catastrophic happens to it, boom, $4,800 car, he's dead.
Oh no.
So, you're a little bit short of your dream car. In this case, this might be the only case where it might be permissible to get a car loan. But here is your cutoff, okay? If you have to get a car loan, make sure you can pay off the entire thing in 6 months or less. If you can't pay off a car loan in 6 months or less, then you're trying to buy too much car. Now, $17,000 down on a $2,000 car, that leaves what, $3,000? Okay? Well, $3,000 cut over 6 months, that's $500 a month. It's a little more than I've been saving, but maybe I can, deliver pizzas a couple nights a week and make up that extra. Okay? You don't want to get upside down on a loan or you don't want to get into a loan for longer than half a year. Because in half a year, you minimize your time that something bad could happen, and you might get stuck and might have to be tempted to dip into your emergency fund and go into debt on something. That means lower period of time, I'm going to have to carry full coverage. Also, really good idea, if at all possible, avoid car dealers. Car dealers are not your friend. Car dealers are car dealers because they are good at selling cars, good at getting people to avoid common sense and go into debt, and they want to make money. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money. I want to make money too. Okay? I'm just not terribly good at it. I'm just saying, it's not bad to want money. But the dealer is not your friend. The dealer is not there to help you. The dealer is there to help him or herself. If you can be a car dealer, I say go for it. I hope that, I hate to say that every car dealer is a dishonest, awful, heartless, icy black, dirty word. Okay?
Okay.
In fact, I think it's really, really unfortunate that 98% of car dealers give the other 2% a bad name. Okay? I'm sure there are some good car dealers out there. I've never personally found one. Okay? If you can buy from a private party, always try and do that because you will pay less from an individual selling their car than you will from a dealer. Because most of the time an individual selling the car, they're not doing it to make a profit. They're doing it because they don't need this car anymore and they want it gone.
And they won't.
Unless it's someone selling a truck, and then they overprice it.
Not always. Some people want to let one go.
Just use your brain.
Yeah, take your time. Don't be in any kind of a rush. Shop private parties. Now, the thing that really annoys me, and this is another reason why I don't like dealers, is dealers also like shopping private parties, and they will find somebody who's got this really sweet car that they're letting go. I've actually seen this happen. I've seen a car that was for sale for somebody had on the street for like $3,000. It disappears. I see that exact same car show up on a car lot like 2 weeks later. It's a little bit shinier, and it's going for like $5,000. Because that's what dealers do. They're out there to make a profit. And again, there's nothing wrong with that, but don't let them profit off you. If you buy from a private party, don't sign over a thing and hand it to them. There are some things you can and should do before you buy a car. And this is any car, dealer or otherwise. You want to try and get a Carfax report. Okay? You go to Carfax.com, you pay for a report. It's not very expensive compared to what you're going to pay for a car. It looks up the vehicle history and it tells you, hey, has this car ever been in wrecks? How often has this car been in for service? Stuff like that. Okay, has it been on recalls? Has it been in the shop a lot because it's got issues with things? And that can help you avoid making a big, big mistake. Another thing you always want to do is you always, before you agree on a price or agree on anything, you ask the seller if you can take it to a mechanic. And basically you tell the mechanic, hey, I'm looking at buying this car. Would you go through it for me and see if it has any problems that you can spot? And they will check things like drivetrain, they'll check electrical, they might even do like an emissions test. They can hook a little code reader to it, and see if there's like any codes that come through. And they'll take it for a drive, and they'll charge you maybe $100, give or take.
Them pay for the issue.
Yeah. And then, if they're like, hey, this is a great car, you might need to fix this, this, and this. You figure out how much this, and this are going to cost, and you figure that in to what you make for your offer for your private party. Never feel bad about offering a little bit less than what they're asking. Okay? They can always say no. You can negotiate. It's not like, you walk into Allsup's and you want that candy bar and you're like, yeah, see, it's marked for $1.50. I'd be willing to give you 75 cents for it. Okay, that's not how cars work. Okay, or houses or any other large purchases. Once you take the mechanic, be sure that you call your insurance Talk to your agent, say, hey, I'm looking at getting such and such car. Here's the vehicle identification number, the VIN, which is the same thing you need for the Carfax. And they'll run the numbers and tell you how much it's going to cost to add that to your policy. Okay? See if that's something you can afford as part of your budget. Okay? If you can't afford the insurance on it because these are notoriously dangerous cars that fall apart and the insurance is really high on them for some reason, then that's not your car. The good news is there's thousands of other cars which could be your car out there. I've been talking for a really long time. Yes.
What are your typical things that you have to do to upkeep your car?
Okay, that's good. Typical things for upkeep, okay, or maintenance. Okay, so big things on maintenance that you want to look at. I mean, you want to talk about lube. You want to talk about oil changes. Oil changes, we're talking every 3 to 5,000 miles. Okay.
What is every 6 months?
Okay. Well, it's every 3 months or every 3 to 5,000 miles is typically what they recommend. Keeping your oil topped off, keeping all your fluids topped off, which is what they do whenever most places do an oil change, will help them to spot any problems. Like if you've got a leak somewhere, they could say, hey, your engine coolant was a little bit low, or hey, your oil is really low, or your power steering, is leaking or something like that. They can see stuff like that. If you're talking about tires, you want to have them rotated about every 3,000 miles. Rotated just means that they move them from one corner to another corner and they move around. That way they are wearing evenly all over the car. I would say probably either when you see a problem, if you are looking at something like the ignition system, electrical system, plugs, wires, belts, hoses, something like that. Okay, so if we say like belts, hoses, okay, ignition system, I would have somebody maybe check every 20,000 miles and have serious thoughts about doing, if they don't replace them every 20,000, if it's been a while since they've been replaced, then definitely around the time that your car turns 100,000 miles, you want to have a lot of stuff done to it, okay, including things like, getting the timing belt replaced if your car has a timing belt, okay. A lot of cars, instead of having timing belts, they have what's called a timing chain, which never breaks. But if your timing belt breaks, then one of two things can happen depending on what kind of car you have. Either your engine timing will get out of whack in such a way to where it will make your car really not run well, or you're going to have a certain kind of engine that if your timing fails, stuff's going to hit other stuff inside there and break your engine and destroy it.
Oh.
And certain car models have some of those issues. Okay, so you want to be preventative with stuff like that. Aside from that, just pay attention to what your car is telling you. If you hear any new funny noises, really find out what they are. Okay, you hear a persistent beep, 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 beep when you're rolling, it means you need some new brake pads. Okay, if you hear whenever you turn, there's probably something going on with one of your CV joints or one of your car pieces. Okay, something having to do with your steering, your transaxle, something's going weird there. Okay, if your car is making a lot more noise to passers-by, there's probably something wrong with your exhaust system. Maybe you got a crack there, maybe you got a muffler. If you're losing power, then it could be that you're losing some engine vacuum. You might have a vacuum leak. Have them check your PDC valve. Have them check there's a whole bunch of stuff they can do to check and see what's giving your car a hard time. And again, no car is going to run forever. I've been talking a lot. That was a good question. I hope I maybe helped answer it.
Obviously, but you just listed some things that I don't know about.
Yeah, and that's fine. Okay. A big thing is find a mechanic you trust. Okay. So talk to people. Say, okay, who's a mechanic you trust, and try them out. Okay. Unfortunately, and this stinks. Some mechanics will treat women and men differently because they imagine that men know a little more what's going on and women don't. Sometimes that's true, sometimes not. But sometimes unscrupulous ones will try and take advantage of women. Okay? If that's the case, get a guy to go with you. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, borrow. But you know, just if a mechanic comes to you and says, hey, this is going to cost X, Y, Z, and it sounds like it's going to be a lot, then get a second opinion. Take it to another mechanic. Usually mechanics at dealerships tend to charge more than folks that are working on their own. Sometimes you may not have much of a choice depending on where you live. Okay. Anything else? All right, so I hope that this has been informative / helpful / entertaining. I had Joseph Ferris this morning price a Cybertruck. I think that they're going for about $45,000. So he's going to have to, drive a hoopty a little bit longer to get his Cybertruck.
It's like honestly not that bad.
Not terrible. I mean,
I would think it would be like 80 or 100,000.
I'm thinking, 5 years after the Cybertruck's been around, maybe we get some used ones a little bit lower.
And it costs
All right. Well, if there's no more questions, I'm going to go ahead. I would encourage you to read through those 2 articles because they've got a lot more information in there than what I covered. They talk about how much the average car payment is, how much your average car deprecates. Oh, forgot about a couple things. Few really good resources when you go shopping for a car. Okay, you want to look at things like cars. Really good one is like carcomplaints.com, Edmunds.com. Cars.com, period. YouTube, if you do a little bit of looking around on YouTube, you can find like top 10 lists of guys who say like, hey, these are the best, these are the 5 most reliable cars under $5,000 you can find. Do a lot of watching. Read reviews. Okay? Talk to people who own cars. And if they're honest with you, they'll tell you, hey, yeah, my car's never given me trouble, it's awesome. Or they'll say, hey, it's a bomb, don't ever get one of these. It's a money pit. All right, I'm going to stop the video now.